He'll lynch you, but he did, and he laughs at
Hello. Russ of the West Ham Network. Hope you're all safe and well. Happy Friday. And today it's Have Your Say Friday. Roll those credits. No, roll those titles. The credits at the end. If you're new around here, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a bloody good subscribe. Hope you're all very well. Happy Friday. We've done it another week. Another week has passed. Almost. Congratulations. Hope you've got nice weekends planned. If you've got nothing planned at all, don't worry. The West Ham Network still has your back. Tomorrow night, obviously we've got Hammer's headlines at 5 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow morning we've got a really cool piece called The Battle to be Number 9, and going through all of Antonio's attributes and looking at some of the main players in terms of forwards we've been linked with, and just seeing who's would work, who wouldn't work, that type of thing. And it's presented by Harry, who's a new guy on the channel, so it's a really good show, so make sure you check that on tomorrow. And then on Sunday we've got the next of our Hammers in Hot Water series. We've got Danny, the original Portuguese wonder kid himself, and going through all his time at West Ham and his time after West Ham, which is quite interesting. Particularly where he ended up. Just a little teaser. Hope you're all safe and well. Let's see, we've got the chat. Holly's going to be joining us very, very soon, so that's good. And we'll open up to the airways, and you guys can come and have a talk and see what we talk about. Jonathan, good afternoon to you. Brian, happy Hammerette. I've got a picture, happy Hammerette, which you'll you probably pause it and go back, and I'll show you in a minute, to do with your mate Lanzini. Interesting about the chipped balls in the Qatar. I know. So, the rumour is, or not the rumour, the idea is they're going to be bringing on, the ball's going to have an electronic chip in, and it means you can sort out offsides, because there's 12 cameras. Check it out on YouTube. I'll put a link to it. There's a little YouTube clip from FIFA. I found it very interesting, to be honest. But anyway, good afternoon. Hey ho, bring on a minute. Good afternoon, Pete. What about the price of fish and chips? Indeed. What about the price? Unbelievable. Daniela, hope you're well. Robert's in the house. Usual suspects in the house. Everyone's talking to each other. John's in. Hope you're well, John. Mustard Man Gaming, I'm very well. Russ or the Russ wannabe? No, it's me. It's all 100% beefcake button today. Happy Emirates, hope you're well. Danielle, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Don't think you're going to get a West Ham signing today, but happy birthday. Hope you have a lovely day. Pinky or Perky? It's Pinky, but I'm always Perky. Patrick Kelly has signed. Well, apparently so. We'll wait and see that. Happy New Month. Indeed, we'll be doing the draw today for the next giveaway, although I haven't got it with me. It's in the upstairs, but don't worry. Hazari, everyone's in. Hi all from sunny Spain. I see the Lingard deal looks dodgy. Well, he can actually sign now because it's the 1st of January, so 1st of July rather, so we'll see. See, Spurs have entered the race for Lingard. Really, fair play to them. They just trying to buy everyone, it seems, who just seems to try and buy everyone. Everyone's talking to each other. Anyway, let's crack on. Let's bring in Holly. Hey, Holly, how's your week?
How's it going? It's going really well, thank you. I've been watching all the transfer dramas, and I don't know what to think of it all. It's been very busy. How's yours?
Yeah, busy. As you said, it's all dramas at the moment, isn't it? As I said, we had there was the whole meltdown yesterday with Danjuma. Although I noticed something very interesting on Twitter today. Let me bring it up. Just sort of. It was in response to the Talk Sport thing. So Talk Sport, Alex Crooks said basically what it was. And look, if I just share my screen,
I might know what you're about to show.
Yeah, interesting. Someone, a certain Mr. Colton Cole said it's spot on.
Oh.
And then someone asked him what it was to do. Spot on, meaning this. This is what happened.
Oh wow!
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, that's very.
So
different.
it is. It's very interesting. I saw it and I thought, Colton to get involved is quite strange, but yeah. I mean, it's although we do say Hammer's headlines today, Moyes is. Kai looks like he's kiboshed Danjuma, but he's given his 3 people he wants us to sign in the forward positions. So we'll see. You can guess who they are. It's going to be Potter, Brozier, Lewis Potter, and Lingard. So yeah, it's hardly surprising, but yes. Anyway, so let's talk about transfers. I'm going to put a link in the chat and people can chat and join in if they want to. But right, so where's my bit? So we've got 2 in. Okay, we've got Aged and we've got Areola in. I don't think we have to sign anyone else beginning with A. We're doing it alphabetically, it seems, having but Aged, AG, and Areola, AR. So who's the next one, Holes? Who's the next one going to be? Who are we going to get in next?
I think for me, the striker has to be something that we really focus on, because it's the one position that we are more than lacking. I think we can probably have other people cover other positions. Maybe we bring in someone like Lingard to support Antonio and we do it that way. But I think if there is a good striker that's up for grabs, I would say we really need to focus on that. Danjuma, I really liked the look of, and he looked like a more powerful player that plays in a similar style, I'd say, to Benrahma on the ball. Apparently his work rate off the ball wasn't all that, and obviously alarm bells ringing as soon as I heard about the the attitude problems. But it's a difficult one because obviously there's a lot of people saying both ways with that, so you just don't really know. So yeah, I think I'd have to say Brozier probably if I had to pick moment. But again, he didn't score. I think it was since March last season.
Since he scored against us, he hasn't scored since then.
It's a bit of a concern because the last thing we'd want is to bring in a striker that then has a goal drought after we've spent a fair bit of money on them. So I'm scared.
It's not uncommon though. Look at some of the people we've signed. Like Simeone Zaza, he went on loads of strikers we signed, then go on a goal drought. I know what you mean. And actually, as I said, tomorrow we've got Harry doing a really good piece about the battle to be number 9, and he goes into a lot of stats and a lot of heat maps and things like that about who could be the perfect replacement maybe or understudy for Antonio, because clearly Moyes still rates him very, very highly and he's going to be playing a lot next season. And it's quite interesting what he says about Brozier and various others as well. So people can check that out this tomorrow afternoon. No, tomorrow morning, that's it. Obviously, they're back at pre-season now. As well. Anton was there yesterday. We got some lovely pictures here, which he took of his family. He got his family up at 7:30 yesterday to drive to St Andrews. So obviously, speaking of Benrahma, Benny was there. It was quite interesting. Anton, what he was saying, there was a lot of obviously Masuaku and Diop were there. Connor Coventry was doing a lot of work with the midfield players. Obviously, Aaron Cresswell was there. What was quite interesting was Harrison Ashby, who was doing a lot of stuff with the defenders, like the first teamers. Got a lovely thigh there. Look at that thigh. He's great thigh. But apparently, he and speaking to Anton afterwards, he said he looks the real deal, and I think he's going to be the one who's going to be pushing on this year into the first team. That's for sure. Obviously, a few of the youngsters were there as well. LSA and Longelo again. Longelo looks like he's going to be getting hopefully a push into the first team. Antonio looks very happy to be there, as you can imagine. And then there was the baby incident. So this is the incident, and so what happened was. Obviously, Antonio had Anton brought little Joey along, who's 7 months old, and Fornals wasn't doing any. He was ignoring doing any training and was talking to Anton about the baby. How old's the baby? And he says, "I was 7 months old. Oh, same as mine." Literally, as soon as training finished, he ran over to Anton, who literally just handed his baby over to Pablo Fornals.
Take him.
Exactly. Just take him. Take him. And he's love you. And only afterwards he went, I've just given my baby to a man, like a stranger, but yeah, it was very, very sweet. And you can see there, it looked like a really nice atmosphere. They were all being very friendly. And there's Anton with Mr. Warburton, Mr. Nolan, and there's El Moisey. I like that new training kit. I really like that new training kit.
It's nice.
I need to get some. And I think Anton's dad looks a lot like David Moyes.
Same stance and everything.
Same stance. There we go. Yeah, and there's him and the main man itself. So obviously pre-season, we've got pre-season. The first pre-season game I think is next week. I think we play Survey. But obviously, I don't know when the international players are coming back. They're going to be due back very, very shortly. So obviously, there was no Declan Rice, there was no Bowen, there was no Souček, Soufal, all these types of players who are away on international duties. Aguerd is still on holiday. I saw a picture of him on Twitter, enjoying himself on holiday, lying by the pool. Not jealous at all. But it's getting a bit close now, isn't it? It's the 1st of July today. And we've only got 2 new people in at the moment.
Yeah, we started out pretty quickly, and I was thinking, come on, like this is going to be the window where we finally deliver on what we wanted. Obviously, it's never that easy with signings. I know there's a lot of work involved, and you can get so close with a player, can't you? And then it can just flip completely. I'd like to think there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes, and with Moyes saying who he wants his top targets to be, hopefully we're really going in for those, because I have a lot of trust in Moyes and what he thinks will fit within the team. And for example, if he thinks that Danjuma might not be the perfect fit for the team, I would trust that he knows better than myself.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm all for that. But as long as we do strengthen the positions that we really need, we've got European football again. We obviously, last season, realistically, we probably overperformed given the lack of squad depth. So we really just need to bolster these positions so that we don't end up in a pickle. We don't want to get in a pickle, Russ.
No, we don't want to get a situation where we're starting to scrabble around. Now, we know that Moyes has said, what we've believed to be said is after Aguerd came through, I've got to learn how to pronounce that name properly first, but he said he wanted 6 more players.
Yeah.
Now, I've only put 4 silhouettes because I don't think we're going to get 6 players in, but we might do. But I think the trouble is, I think we've seen certain people being linked. I need to update my list, but there's over 100 players we've been linked with already this transfer window, and obviously some have already gone. But I think we're gonna for every Danjuma, for every Brozier, there's gonna be a Josh Brownhill. There's gonna be a Maxwell Cornet, or there's going to be a Dwight McNeil. And I think people have got to realise they're not all going to be £30 million bangers.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of squad players coming in. We've spoken about the potential. There was a rumour about Josh Cullen being looked at again, and apparently the club have always kept an eye on him since he's left. That could be a good squad player. Josh could come in and be not necessarily a first team. It could be a squad player. We're talking at 5:00 tonight about Tielemans. And with Arsenal signing another Vieira, although it was Fabio, not Patrick rather. Dave apparently, no other clubs are in for him. It seems, and he's out of contract at the end of.
After him, Spurs have got someone, so they're not going to be.
Yeah, and it's. I mean that's one that really surprises me is someone like Tielemans who's like. He's a quality player, and I think him in a 3 potential, in terms of him, Souček and Rice. I mean, he would come in as a real contender for that second spot. I think, and I really rate him. I think he's a fantastic player, and he's his last year of his contract. So Leicester have to do some business because clearly he hasn't signed a new contract, and it's going to be a strange one to see what happens with him. But I've done a great caption though, so I've put "Yuri, the one that I want."
Oh, it's beautiful. I love it.
You know what? I applauded myself this morning. I was like, Russ, that's great. You're the one that I want. But is there any players you go, oh, I wish we got him. I wish we get him.
Not really. I mean, there are quite a few, like you were saying, where they're not all going to be massive names. And I'm a really firm believer in if someone's got the right attributes, that we now seem to be putting together a coaching team where we're actually going to turn people into the players that we need. So when you look at people like Lewis Potter, obviously they're somewhat unproven in terms of what they'd bring in the Premier League, but I do think there's so much that we could do with players like that. So I'm not adamant that we need any other players in terms of like a specific name. I'm adamant that we do need more players, just to
Yeah.
confirm. But Aguerd, I was really, really keen on. That was the only name throughout this transfer window that I've been like, we need him. And I felt stronger that we needed Lingard in the past, but now I feel that sort of what will be will be. And yeah, just got to wait to see how it all pans out a little bit. So there's not a particular name, but I do think striker. I think getting in a defensive midfielder, especially Tielemans, would be incredible because he'd bring a lot. He'd be in contention for that second choice player there. But as well as that, it would mean that looking further down the line, obviously it's not nice to talk about, but if Rice does go to another club, you don't want to have your back up against the wall with everyone knowing that you desperately need a defensive midfielder. So it would put us in quite a good position where we wouldn't actually be desperate for that. He'd have a really good partner and we could switch between Tielemans, Souček, whoever's playing better. So I think that would bring a lot to the team.
Yeah. I think also with someone like, I think if you look, I mean, people were saying, "Oh, we've lost these players, we've lost 5 players, whatever it was." But you look do it through them, and as I said before, there was no one that was a guaranteed first team out of those 5. You know, the likes of Alex Kroll, and he played one game really, and that could easily be be replaced with a Connor Coventry in terms of that spot. Mark Noble, yes, because he played a number of first team games. Basically, said someone bringing someone in like a Tielemans or someone who even like a Josh Cullen, but I think someone like Tielemans would, if you brought him in, would really sort of not put the cat amongst the pigeons, but you know, say to not necessarily Declan, but say to Souček, look, this guy's here to he could take your place easily.
Yeah. Work for
And
the
so
position.
yeah, and I think that's what we need. We need competition for places, particularly on the left side as well. You know, if you did get a Lewis Potter in, I mean, when the rumours with Danjuma came up, I thought it's basically going to be a replacement for Ben Rama. That's what it sounded like. If Jesse comes in, I know Spurs have entered the fray now, but I just don't see where he'd fit into Spurs. He's not going to get no game time there. They seem to be buying anyone at the moment, so they'll come crashing down. And I just think, for me, it's about competition. Now there's competition for places in the goalkeeper position, the centre back position. You've got 4 very good centre backs there now. We know who's going to be the 2 main ones, but the other 2 can come in and do a job. And if they have a good run of games, who knows? You know, they can keep going. I mean, for me, I think Monster Factories. You know, for me, it's pace. I think that's one thing we lack now with Fredericks going, particularly having that really really fast person. We haven't really got a really fast player. That's what really worries me at the moment. And God, I don't know. I think we've had, you know, and even you look at the likes of Brozier. Brozier's not rapid, not a very quick player. It worries me a little bit that there's always been a lack of pace. Left back is my next one. I'm not so bothered. For me, it's about setting up that sort of back 4 and the goalkeeper. You know, for me, you've got, you know, now we've got 2 centre backs, a goalkeeper who can basically be that sort of little triangle for the next 5 years. Right back, we've sort of got that covered for the next 5 years at least, realistically. Soufal, Ben Johnson, and Ashby without actually spending any money, but that could improve definitely. But it's the left back side that I'm worried about.
Same. Because Cresswell, obviously he went from being really good and then he was out for a while and then he just didn't hit the ground running at all. And then he went through a patch where I thought he was actually doing really well. And I thought, what a turnaround. Maybe we don't need to replace him, because he went from last transfer window or about a year ago. I thought that was the main position that was really, really sort of costing us points. So I thought we needed to sort that out. Then we went through a patch where I thought he was all right again. And then towards the end of the season, I think it just became more and more apparent that we really do need somebody else to come in there. So, I definitely think that's a good one to focus on.
I mean, there's a couple of people who obviously been linked with on that left back. Obviously, Aaron Hickey. from Bologna. Obviously Calvin Bassey from Rangers. Juventus left back Pellegrini, which is apparently that could be a good one coming through, and a guy I'm talking about today who I at 5 o'clock who I didn't think was going to be anywhere near us. Not an obvious person to think of, but Emerson from Chelsea. There was a report today about him and West Ham looking at him. Yeah, I know. It was a strange one. I looked at it and I thought, you know what? I read into it a little bit more and I thought I could see why we'd be linked with him, but it's not an obvious choice. It's like I think it's more of a stopgap. But look, he's 27. I think he's 27. He's got 30 caps for Italy, something like that. It'll cost about 10 million quid.
Worth a try. Go on then.
Worth a try, isn't it? I think it's worth a try. I'm the same as Mustard Man. I think Pellegrini, the Juventus player, he'll be about 10 million quid as well. 23. I think that would probably be a better long-term signing, but he obviously hasn't got Premier League experience. He apparently rejected us last summer to try and break into the Juventus side, which he didn't do, and he's sort of coming back, tail between his legs a little bit. I don't mind that. What was Ralph says? Ralph says last summer we ended up with Kral and Vlasic as last minute signings. Moyes needs to get this sorted early. We need a striker first. Yes, I know you. I think left back first rather than striker. I'll be honest. I know Holly's more of a striker first, rather than left back. But for me, if we don't concede goals, we don't have to score as many. It's not as exciting, granted. It's not as exciting. 1-0 to the West Ham, 2-0 to the West Ham. But if you when Moyes first came back, that defence got really sorted out, and we were really mean in the defence, and we were like turning over teams like that. Wolves, Leicester, 3-4-0. And then last season, the goals kept on creeping back in terms of conceding. So it already puts you on a backward step if you're already 1-0 down after 20 minutes. So I think that's what they need to. And apparently, talking to Anton yesterday about the training session they did at St Andrews, Moyes was just literally standing with the defence. It was all about the defence. So, yeah. And also, good point Kemp makes. We've got 9 subs, not 9 on the bench, haven't we? We've got 5 subs.
Yeah, and I think if we're going to be trying to compete for these European spots season after season, that's where we are going to struggle initially, not having the strength on the bench. And we saw it even last season where we didn't really have any game-changing subs, especially when you start getting short of players and players start getting tired. The inability to shuffle someone into the team made it very difficult. And you could see the how tired some of the players were getting when you've got most of the top 6 clubs that have plenty of subs on the bench that are really good players. That's going to be difficult to compete with. So, but again, I think that comes back to what you were saying about getting in a couple of the bigger names that are proven and know what they're doing, but also getting in some smaller players that are actually maybe less well known, but can still bring what we need to the team.
Yeah, it's that sort of squad mentality, I think. I think Moyes always had a sort of a first team mentality. It's like the first team is on paper, it is strong. It is a good first team. There's a couple of places I think we could improve. But if you did the 1 to 11, we could probably pick it now. I reckon next season you've got Areola's going to be starting, what will eventually be the number 1. Obviously, he's signed a 5-year deal plus 1 added year on top. And obviously, Fabianski has a 1-year extension, although that hasn't been officially announced by the club, but it's a bit weird. And then left back, hopefully an improvement to left back. But if not Cresswell, then you've got the likes of Aguerd, you've got Zuma, you've got maybe Soufal or Ben Johnson on the right back, Declan and Soucek in the middle, and then the 3 Bowen, Lanzini, Fornals, and Antonio up front. That's a bloody good first 11. But it's after that. That's always been the problem with us, isn't it? It's that sort of plan B. It's that afterwards, and we've never really had it apart from just throwing Yarmolenko. Which even then wasn't the impact sub that we probably always needed.
It's a difficult one as well because we've seen that Moyes is often reluctant to make a sub, but I question how much that is that he doesn't feel he's got somebody that will make the difference that he needs coming off the bench. I'd love to see what he would do if we did have a strong bench of game-changing players that could come on, whether it's a like-for-like replacement or switch up the formation.
Yeah.
I'd be really interested to see, because I'm sure that he would make subs if he felt that it would be beneficial for the game. It's just that he hasn't had those players on hand.
Exactly, and I think someone like Lewis. I mean, we speak about Lewis Potter. I know Kevin's really peed off. We didn't get Lewis Potter. Brentford haven't had. Hull have rejected that £20 million pound bid for Brentford at the moment. So he's not. He hasn't gone nowhere, Kevin. So don't worry, he ain't gone nowhere. Nowhere yet. But Brentford, put £20 million pound bid in. The Hull chairman or vice chairman basically said it wasn't enough money. So they're looking for a lot more money for Lewis Potter. But even someone like Lewis Potter coming in, he's not going to go in and guarantee a first team place. You look at how someone like Jarrod Bowen, when we first signed him, he was like the Ben Rama of last year. He was always on the bench, wasn't he? And it took him about a season to sort of bleed into the side, and then it obviously went crazy. Where last year Ben Rama was that person where he was all in and out of the side quite a bit. And I think maybe Lewis Potter would come in and do the same thing. He wouldn't necessarily be guaranteed a starting spot. I reckon there's probably 7, 8 of the players are guaranteed starting spots, maybe 9. But it's that sort of 10 and left-sided of the 3 are those ones that we're not guaranteed anyone really. It could be one of 4 or 5 people really in that position, particularly with sort of Vlasic still around as well, and various others. Like Lanzini he says he wants to stay, which is good. Doesn't want to bugger off to Argentina just yet. What we got here? Look at this. Scarmacker worth a shout. He is Gianluca Scarmacker from South Suso. Great player. He'd be like Arnautovic was. He's good, like in the good bits about Arnautovic, a real sort of nasty player. I quite like that. Russ, how do you feel like Noble's now officially? He is a free agent now, isn't it? He's gone officially. Mark Noble's a free agent. Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Greeno, priorities clearly defence first, so expect a left back and maybe Lingard as well as the usual ones and the suspects of Newcastle. Everton don't start throwing silly money around. I don't think Everton can afford to flow silly money around. Newcastle, yes. Newcastle's starting to buy some good players now. I mean, they went, they for a long period of this sort of window, they bought Taggart and that was it for 15 million quid. Now with Pope and Botman, they're sort of doing the same. They're sort of doing the same thing we're doing, trying to shore up that defence and stop the goals being leaked. Because obviously they've got the quality in terms of St Maximin, Wilson when he's on good form, and I'm sure there'll be a few more coming from Newcastle. No to Brown, who was not a game changer. I don't think he would be a game changer. I'm not saying he would be, Arto. I think he'll come in and be a good. I mean, he's 26, and I think he'll be a good squad player. And that's what we're trying to say. Sort of manage expectations. He says he wants 6 players. He's not going to spend 180 million on 6 players. He's going to spend 100 million on 6 players. So a few will be 30 millions. Maybe a couple of 20s and a couple of cheapies. Right. Oh, God, make you jump. Let me see. What else we got? Here? If anyone wants to, the links to the chat. If anyone wants to come on and have a chat, more than welcome. Apparently, did you know about the rumour interested in Owen Windell? Yes, from AK Alcazar, wherever it is. AZ. Yes, I do. I do know about that. Apparently, he's meant to sign for Ajax, but it's all broken down. So apparently clubs are trying to. That's a steal at left back. 8.5 million, 10 million quid. Absolutely crazy. Got to go. By the time I come back, I want to see a left back, Lingard, and a centre midfield. I'm not demanding, just a modern fan, indeed. Indeed. It's so true.
20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. How long are you going for? A month? I hope so. What we got here? Really like Paddy Lane from Fleetwood. Yes, we were looking at him. Kent's very good at the whole scouting side. He's very, very good at that. So international football and getting more game time indeed. I think Bamford from Leeds is worth a good shout. Leeds are on free fall at the moment, haven't they? I don't think they'll sell Bamford. If they're going to sell, if they're going to sell Phillips and Rafinha, they're not going to sell Bamford as well.
It's their last hope. Just please.
He is. It's the last. If I was Bamford, I'd be looking around going, maybe I should go, because like sort of the writing's on the wall a little bit there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sky Sports say they're close unless they got it wrong. I mean, they're closer, probably as close as us, to be honest. Chelsea would want around 35 million for Brozier. Would you pay 35 million pounds for Brozier?
I don't know. I feel like that is quite a lot, but I don't know. I really don't know. I would rather pay around 30.
Yeah.
I think 35 does sound like a lot, and obviously, until you've seen how someone plays in the team, it's always a risk. But I would try and get them down from 35. But I would also take paying 35 for Broja over not signing any striker this window, I think.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things where, yeah, it's for someone who's, I mean, he's still relatively unproven, isn't he? Really, Broja. He's 20, and as long as there's not like a buyback clause in the contract. Because the worst thing I want to do, someone made a good point in one of our videos. You know, we have him for 3 or 4 years. He becomes like a brilliant player, and there's a contract. You know, because Chelsea always they like these buyback clauses in their contract, and then they buy him back, and we've done all the hard work.
Imagine.
It would happen though, wouldn't it?
It's typical. They just take him back.
It's typical West Ham thing. It's typical West Ham. You can see it happening. We've got now, right. Oh, let's bring Anton on quickly for a bit. Anton's in. We always have a look.
Hello.
Oi.
How you doing? How you doing, big boy?
Yeah, not bad. Big boy, what's your name?
He's Ludic McCluskey. I gave him the rundown about all your stuff, about your journey yesterday and all your fun.
Honestly, what a day! Do you know what? I've spoke to my mum and dad went. My sisters went, brought some nephews, my kids, obviously, my wife, and we've just all spoke about it and just how family friendly they all were. With everyone, they were took the time out. But the biggest thing for me was Pablo Fornals just picks up my boy.
That's
Joey.
what I mean. Just give
I heard Fornals stole your child.
He literally stole my child. He was so fascinated because he was loving the fact that he had the West Ham top on. Held him, kissed him in the head. Lanzini and him were playing with Joey, and then handed him back to my wife. And my wife was like, "Oh my god, like I can smell the sweat of the other players." So, but they were quality, really good. David Moyes spent some time talking to us. Talked to my nephew who's just signed for Pro Youth for a club up here. Met Ray Stewart, like you name it. It was just a really good day out. But also picked up some interesting things that they were doing in the training. I don't know if you mentioned it, Russ, but
a little bit. But you feel free to go through it, mate.
So they did what they did last year, which was split the players up again after they'd done their full training session. So they put the defenders in one section, they'd done the attackers in one section, and then they'd done what looks like the central defensive midfielders in one section. So they had Pierre Ekwa, who is an absolute unit.
Beast, yeah.
Absolute beast, with Connor Coventry, Lanzini and Fornals. I think that was the only real central defensive midfielders that were there. And Mark Warburton took them and was bouncing the ball around and doing drills and how you can and shadowing shadowing the ball and all that sort of stuff. So that was pretty cool. But I was kind of fascinated more with the attackers in the in that section. Pierre Ekwa was pretty stand-outish, to be honest. Absolute beast mode. And then defence, you had Dawson. Interestingly enough, Zuma and Ogbonna didn't train yesterday. I think they may have done other training, but they didn't train on the park.
Yeah.
So you had Dawson, Diop. Again, every time I see Diop, I forget how tall he is. I'm 6'4", and I still feel like I looked up at him. So he's a unit. Masuaku and Moyes was talking loads to Masuaku. Loads. Absolutely loads. So I'm intrigued to see what happens there. You had Longello and Alessi, no Baptiste anywhere to be seen. I don't even think he's with the squad.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. That's what you were saying yesterday, Anton. I hadn't seen him in any of the photos. Considering he was like the future.
Yeah.
Strange, isn't it?
There could be something in it. I don't know if he did he do international, youth international or anything like that, and was given a bit of a longer break, but he just wasn't there. So Alessi, obviously a left-footed defender, him, Creswell and Longello were separated onto the left-hand side, and then you had Dawson. I can't remember who the other two were over the right-hand side doing some drills with Charlie Adam. Heavily involved. So I know he's asked for a favour from the club.
Yeah.
But I would have thought he would have been an oversight.
Rather than integral.
Heavily integral for the session. So that was really interesting. And then goalkeepers were away doing their stuff, and the attackers, and they were working on. It looked like they were just working constantly on finishing. Like, so, ping the ball over the top, and very rarely take a touch, try and hit it on the first time. And it was Okaflex, and it was the focus. The focal point was on servicing Okaflex and servicing Antonio all the time. So that was pretty interesting as well.
Yeah, good shout by Daniela, who we're going to bring on in a minute. But she went, the under 19, Baptiste's under 19s, and they're still playing, aren't they? They got the final on Sunday. So although he hasn't featured, he hasn't been in the squad. He was on the bench for some of the qualifiers, but not the actual championship itself. He hasn't been in the starting lineup. But I mean, we'll see what happens, isn't it? It all kicks off properly next week in terms of the actual. What's it called? The actual matches, isn't it? Yeah. The first one is next. Is it the 8th? I think it's the 8th. Is the first one. What we got? Yeah, it's the 8th of July. So next week, and then we've got the double header at Ipswich and Boreham Wood, Reading, Rangers, Luton, and Long, which will be interesting.
Russ, did you speak about Souček by any chance?
No, I didn't. I left that exclusive to you, Anton.
Well, listen, I'm not trying to say this is an exclusive in any ways whatsoever. It's not about being a person that's in the know. However, when you're there, you're trying your best to maybe ask the odd question here, there, and everywhere. So me and this other guy were talking to one of the people from West Ham, and he was just ballsy enough to ask about Tommy Souček. And the reply was, it's absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. An integral part of the squad, absolutely integral part of the team. And the impression I was given was they were kind of offended by the rumours and the links and things like that. So again, I'm only passing on physical information that I was told from someone, because someone beside me was ballsy enough to ask the question. Whether or not they would give you the right answer or not, I don't know. But they were pretty adamant. I was like, and their words were absolute bullshit. Like, so there you go.
There we go. Exclusive on the West Ham Network. Exclusive. Right, let's bring. I'm going to bring someone. I'm going to bring Daniela in. It's a birthday.
Oh, love that! Happy birthday, Daniela.
Happy birthday.
Hi, guys. Hi.
You look very happy by that fact.
I'm very happy. Look, got the wine in the fridge, going cricket. Hopefully the sun goes out. Wine and strawberries in the fridge.
What a day.
What a day.
Wine and strawberries.
Yeah, wine and strawberries. And sitting there playing cricket. Well, watching it.
Lovely. So what do you want to talk about?
Well, basically, I just think we looking at what we're doing, what other teams are doing, I still think we should be more relaxed. Yes, the biggest fear is that actually the league's creeping up as it starts on the 5th of August. So whether are we going to be prepared then? I'm not sure whether we can give some information about the qualifiers for Europe, because I don't know if there's any news on that coming out and something like that.
That will be the draw is I believe it's the end of July, and the qualifiers will be the 15th and the 22nd of August. So so you've got a few weeks. So yeah.
But I don't know. The Lingard thing is, I'm going to say, Lingard was released from Man United before the window opened. He could have signed for us weeks ago. All this thing about when it was wrong, he got released from Man United weeks ago. He actually was a free agent on the 10th of June. He could have actually really signed for us. I think I would love him. I would love him at West Ham, but I think it's time to turn around to him and say, guys, you know what we're about. If you want to come. If you don't, piss off. We're looking for someone else. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, he's got to say, he's 31. I think it's time we just told him to, you know what we're at. You spent half a season with us. You know the fans. You know the love you get. Either come to us. We're in Europe. We're building a new team. I've also been listening like the Chelsea, Man United. Chelsea have actually ruled themselves out of Declan Rice this summer. They're going for forwards. And the vibe I'm getting from Chelsea fan sites is they've actually ruled themselves out this summer. Yeah. Because they're going for forwards. They're going for Neymar and stuff like that. Man United can't afford him, won't afford him. I think Man United have ditched Rice. City, Phillips, I think they're out of it. Liverpool, I think Liverpool are the ones that, if I was advising Rice, Liverpool are the ones I say, if you're going to leave West Ham, go to Liverpool. But by all accounts, they're looking at Benham. And
Yeah,
as we all know,
but that'd be next year by all accounts. Yeah,
and that's like £100 million, and also Real Madrid is looking at him. So I think Rice has got Rice himself. Someone should turn on Rice and say, "Hey mate, you got to. Do you go to Chelsea? Who want to use you as a squad player? Chelsea goes Chelsea City. You're going to be squad players. You're not going to be a main player. They're going to look at you and say, yeah, you're going to be rotating." You got Madness and Man United that still haven't bought anyone, and it sounds like there's some problems now with the agent because this other Marcel guy they bought has changed agents, and it just came out today. There's a row between both agents, and that deal's looking ropey again because he's the agent and the two guys had the same agent. Now he swapped agents, and there's a bit of, and he's pissed both agents off. So that's what getting missed. It's actually quite. People should actually look at other clubs because some of the stuff that's coming out of other clubs is quite actually. It makes us look.
Yes, exactly. I think everyone. I think you're totally right. I think everyone assumes that we're that we're this circus, and I think things do take a lot longer than obvious. But look at Man United at the moment. They can't buy anyone for love nor money, and it's like they're Man United. You know what I mean? So it's not all doom and gloom. I totally agree.
It's now I've called it now the DeLong transfer because it's taken so long. They were saying we're signing him every week. We signed him, and it's like, and everyone's like, well, 1 minute you're hearing he wants to go to Man United, and then he doesn't want to go to Man United. So I'm surprised like Chelsea haven't gone in and said, okay, hijack that deal, come to us, we give you Champions League. I think Chelsea can go straight, or Newcastle can just hijack that deal straight away. But at the end of the day, look, we want all these players. We do need players that fit in the team. I think that's important. I think we've had success over 2 years because the team was a happy team, and we found in the past because we've had egos, personalities, great players on paper. Look at Hellier. Done it at Ajax. Everyone's a great player, but didn't want to do it here. And it is a problem. And also you got to look. You got to actually look at players. What the players want. As I say, you've got the JWP thing where he's kids. And I think if anyone, I don't have kids myself, but I know a school teacher. If you've got your child in school, moving schools is not
easy.
Thing anymore.
It's not easy. No, it's not.
Anyone you've got kids, it's not easy. Even when you've got money, it's easy, and you've got to think about all this. And then if you're in a community you like and the community you're happy with, and you want everyone's asking young players, say, go to London and move to Newcastle. Well, you've got no friends in Newcastle.
Exactly.
Funnily enough, I heard something. I heard something the other day about that, where we all sort of say, "Oh, it's just a transfer from one club to another, and that's what footballers do." But I heard someone saying, "Imagine you went into work on Monday and they said, oh, by the way, you're transferring up to wherever, Manchester." Your whole life just flips upside down.
Yeah.
So much to consider.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be happy.
It's so true.
No,
it's so
like,
true.
But I've got no one up there. You hear so many people that say, "I'm living in a hotel." You're living in a hotel and stuff like that, and it's like that could be depressing. I think that's what happened with Lingard. He was like living in a hotel.
I think
if Lingard comes, I'll be happy.
Yes, me too. I'd be happy to have him. I think he'd be a good addition to the squad. It'd be a good addition to that, maybe at 10 spot. In terms of potentially being a start in that 10 spot, but to me, I think, as I said, there's the left back and the forward position of the two I'm more interested in sorting out, just because I think there's priorities really.
As with the striker role, I think the striker role was changing. Where we grew up, and I grew up with your number 9, your David Crosses, your Stuart Pearsons, your Cotties, your McAvaney's. That role's now become a much more flexible role, and you got to look at our team. We scored a lot. I said before, we scored goals from every outfield player. I don't know where it is, but our defenders. Someone saying something about all this thing about headers, and corners and sort of set pieces. I think every one of our centre backs that played that position scored a goal. From Diop, Masasuku, Zuma, Dawson.
Awesome.
Every one of them has scored a goal in a competition. And Dawson, that vital goal in Europe. Zuma, the winning goal against Liverpool.
Definitely.
And
That's a great
It
shout.
does come down to as well, what's going to win us the games is strengthening one end of the pitch or the other as a priority, whether we're outscoring the other team or stopping them scoring against us. So it'll be interesting, I think, to see which ones we do end up focusing on. Hopefully we can strengthen both positions. Fingers crossed. But there's so much to think about. Transfer windows are bad.
And I personally like this. I'm going to say, be honest and say, I do think we need to give Vashik at least till January. I think, because I do think it's hard for a player to come from the Eastern Bloc like he did, come back to the league. It was a strange league. It was a team that was, he had the pressure of, you've got to do what Lingard did. So that was probably pressure on him. The team was gelling. He never really had enough straight games. Antonio, went to Jamaica. I think that was the downfall going for Jamaica. I'm sorry. I think he's got to admit that going to Jamaica, play for Jamaica was where caused him more problems than anything. And I would like to give Vashik at least till January. And I think this World Cup, I think it's going to be a weird season because I do think there's going to be a couple of shocks because of the World Cup. I think it was also going to be how the non-playing World Cup players deal with the break. The players who are not playing deal with the break. How do they keep their tempo up in a time where it's usually the most intense football played in that November, December football. Teams are playing all teams, whether you're in Europe Cup or not, tend to be playing 2 games a week.
Yeah, good shout. And
teams not going to do that. And I think there's going to be a few teams that can deal with it better. I can see a surprise relegation. I can see and I think we could definitely stay in the top 6 battle, top 8 battle.
Yeah, definitely.
We definitely can say no. Because I don't see Man United weaker. I think Chelsea, Tottenham got some great signings, but that team's got a gel. And if that team's not gelling, that can cause problems. Liverpool, I think and City. Well, City again. It's like how do they sell? I think Phillips. I can't see Phillips not going to the World Cup now. Going to City.
I can. I think it's a real risk.
Great.
Yeah.
It's a real risk. I can see him not going to the World Cup, especially if like someone like Ward-Prowse and Southampton do have a good season. I could see Southgate looking at saying, right, okay, got Rice, I've got Henderson, got Mount. Who's going to be the fourth? Who's going to be the fourth centre midfield? And especially people like Sancho and Rashford don't get back to form. He's going to have some big sort of decisions of who he's putting in there. Like you've got Bowen, you've got other players, you've got Bowen and that. If Lingard makes the right choice to the right club, I still think he can be a very late wild card due to the fact that it is going to be a very intense 3 months, and you've got that X factor of injuries.
Yeah, I totally agree.
You've got to put it out. There's the big X factor of injuries that someone get bad injury, and then it's all up in the
arms. Yeah. Then I'm gonna have to bring in someone else. I'm really sorry, but thank you so much.
Lovely to chat to you.
Lovely meeting you, Holly.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Lovely to meet you.
Right, there we go, Daniela. Right, I've got 5 minutes left. Right, Holly, have you met Peach?
No.
Oh, right. Okay, just hang on to you. Peach. You got 5 minutes. Peach.
That's it. I got 5 minutes.
You got 5 minutes, and that's it.
Oh my days. Yo, listen. I just want to say sorry. Y'all can't see me. I'm here with my Peach cap on. But yo, honestly, girl, what's your name?
Holly.
Holly. Dope. Talk a lot of sense, Holly. Real talk, talking a lot of sense. Um, yo, I agree with you, Rex. Like, yo, we're talking about losing like 4 or 5 players, but those 4 or 5 players ain't even really played that big.
Yeah.
Like yourself, like Noble played a bit, but he didn't play that much, dog. You know what I mean? Like he didn't play that much, man. And then who like Vlasic? I agree with what Janela said about Vlasic. Give him till January because he hasn't really like been given a chance. And then I loved hearing Anton again, with St. Andrews again, like how they're passing the ball up to Antonio and Aquaflex. Yes, please. Yes, please. It's about Aquaflex is given a chance.
Yeah, indeed, man. Indeed.
Yeah.
Also, happy Canada. Is it Happy Canada Day for you today, Peach? Is it Canada Day today?
It certainly is, my friend. That's why
Happy Canada Day.
Great Canada knowledge, Ross.
Thank you. I know it's Daniela's birthday. I know it's Happy Canada Day as well. So there we go.
West Ham shirt on.
I got my red hammer top on because of Canada Day, like, trust me.
He's always representing. Don't worry, he is always representing in Canada. Holly, don't worry about that. So yeah, Peach is a legend on the West Ham network. So Peach, who's right? All right, I'm gonna ask you one question. Okay, I want one word, which is very hard for you. One word. Who?
Very hard. Yeah.
Always getting prepared. Who is the next signing of West Ham? Who West Ham going to sign next? Go.
Who next?
One word.
So, you know what? I like what you guys were talking about. Tillerman. I like that. I like Tillerman. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
Tillerman.
I like that. I like what you guys were talking about, the Tillerman. Yes, because that would like kind of set a rocket up, like 2 checks and rices behind. I like that.
Okay.
Very good. Heard it here first.
Peach has said Tielemans is the next signing at West Ham.
Who do you think is the next signing, my friend?
For me, I'm going to go with one word: Pellegrini.
Not bad, because we need the left side like packed up.
Yeah,
we got the right side packed up. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
And Holly's going to go with Brozier.
I'm going to go Brozier.
That's a good shout. That's a good shout, man.
We'll take all of them.
It's
quality,
we'll
man. Like, we need that left side like stacked. Like the right side's already stacked. Like to the point where you got Ben Johnson playing on the left side because we don't have any left side players. Yeah. And I agree with Holly with what she said. Like Cresswell at times, he looked like he was on fire, like he was shaking Danny Dyer, but then like he looked like he wasn't. You know what I mean? Like he kind of went off and on the boil. Like it was mad.
I know what you mean, man. Right, Peach, we got to go, man. I'm really sorry, man, but come on early next week. We get even longer.
Lovely to meet you.
Big up West Ham Random as well.
Cheers, Peach.
Big up West Ham Network. Trust me. How you mean? There we go. So you got a little bit of Peach.
Love it.
That's enough. Right. Right. We're going to do one more thing, and then we will go. Obviously, anyone who's a there we go. Anyone who is a member gets into a draw every month. Obviously, it's the 1st of July, so the first draw, and this is to win a signed Trevor Brooking print, which is up in my room up there rather than here. Doesn't matter. So let's see who wins. Obviously, if Smudger's in the chat, you won the last one, so please let me know. Please email us. So this is to win a free, not free, but a Trevor Brooking signed print. Obviously, anyone who's a member gets automatically entered into these every week. And so the winner will be... Wait for it to slow down a little bit. Oh, I think Wally or Toby or Papa. Let's have a look. Oh, is it going to be Papa? It can't be Smudger again. If Smudger wins, he's not going to win it again. I'm not going to let him win it.
It's not Smudger.
It's not Smudger. Anthony... Will it just stop?
It's still going.
Anthony Morgan. Congratulations, Anthony Morgan. Congratulations. If you're probably... could you email us at the email address, West Ham Network, and we'll get that sent out to you. Right, okie dokie. That's enough today, Holes. That's enough today. You don't have to... actually, you're not doing wedding shopping. You've already got your wedding dress. So impressive. I'm so impressed you did it so early, so
I know,
quickly.
First shot, third dress, claret
Really?
blue.
Wow.
So I did claret blue.
Fantastic. That's
I know.
brilliant, man. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on as always, Holes.
Lovely to see you.
Holly's going to be doing her own show in a few weeks' time.
I am.
Just
I'm
as
very excited.
There we go. Holly, we're doing her own show in a few weeks' time, so keep an eye out for that, which will be involving Holly on. So if you follow Holly on Twitter as well, because it's going to do something together.
It's all gonna interlink. So we're gonna start taking people's thoughts, comments, opinions from Twitter and turning it into a show. So yeah, give us a follow if you don't already, Halsey on Twitter, and gonna be a load of fun.
Yeah, we're going to start doing that, and there'll be a regular thing coming on. So, anyway, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Stay lucky, stay cheeky, stay positive, stay hydrated, all that good stuff. Tomorrow we've got Harry doing a show called The Battle to Be Number 9. Check that out tomorrow morning. It'll be very, very good. And then next, Hammers in Hot Water, we'll be talking about Danny, the original Portuguese wonder kid. Enough of your Cristiano Ronaldo rubbish. We had the first ever Portuguese. He was the first ever Portuguese player to play for West Ham as well, just being his teammate Hugo Porfirio by a couple of weeks. So check that out. And for me and Holly, take care. Have a lovely weekend, everyone. We'll see you on Monday. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
It's like a family tree, part of you and part of me. And if we should separate,